Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. Yeah, pardon me. I got like, allergies right now. So you hear me sniffling and all that. That's what it is. Let y'all get in here a little bit before we get started. Today, I know I didn't title it right now because I'm currently driving. Today, we are talking FD Signifier, this Eggs, Grits, Panda Pooh Bear dude, and BGS's last live stream that he did going over that, and some of the stuff that this goofy is saying. And just the Legion of Doom, the anti-black manosphere, and my thoughts on that. And I'm gonna give a little bit different takes of the stuff I have been given. But I want to start here. You have the community you deserve. We can say I definitely understand what white people have done, but at the end of the day, like I say this, white supremacy definitely exists, but black people help it run like a well-oiled machine, and that's our fault. At the end of the day, how we deal with each other is something we decide to do, regardless of what white people do. And any sellouts or incentives that people take, that's on us. So, just to lay the groundwork, BGS had a live stream, his daily live, shout out to him. He basically went over Panda Pooh Bear is what I call him. Dude's got like 80,000 subs. Apparently, he's just getting started. And he's going to blow up for a couple of reasons. Number one, his content is going to be geared to, it won't be really geared to necessarily liberal white people, but it's going to be geared to black women and dudes that are basically, it's going to be geared to the Zest contingent, black women and dudes that, they just don't like the black manosphere because they assume everybody in the black manosphere is just kissing white boys' asses, and they are just put off by quote-unquote red pill or black manosphere. So they're going to be listening to anti-rhetoric, anti-red pill, anti-black manosphere rhetoric in order to feel like they're the good black guys. That's essentially is what his, and it may be some sprinkling some white people in there too. They can kind of get past, liberal white people. They got a little bit of white guilt, but it won't be as much as like FD Signifier goes. And I want to say this in the beginning. The one thing that he had critical about, this is how FD Signifier is a grifter. The one thing he had critical to say about it's black men's fault if the catcalling or black dudes not be able to take rejection is when he said that is the premise that he used white people saying that he don't trust white people because of the history of white people. Notice that that's the one thing that FD had a problem with, and that's because most of FD's audience is white. I will be happy to retract that if he shows me his analytics, but I'm pretty sure that like 80% of FD Signifier's audience is white. And if your audience is white, you're not better. You're not a better YouTuber. You just are pulling from a bigger audience. You are basically Brandon Tatum and Anthony Brian Logan. You're those twins. You're them, except on the left. That's it. And let me tell you something. A lot of black, understand that, I'm not here to say that black men, here's the thing. The thing is, inaction is an action in and of itself. It is a decision in and of itself. And a lot of black men, let me be very clear here for black men. We're going to talk about black male accountability. You are either for the status quo, which is the black community being at the bottom. Fuck how you feel, fuck what you think, fuck what you talk about. Actions matter. You are either at the status quo, which is A, keeping black people at the bottom, A, pro-matriarchy. And if you're a black feminist and you're a dude, you are pro-matriarchy, which, by the way, there is no scenario where the black community can be competitive with other groups and be a matriarchy and be a gynocracy. There is no scenario. There's no scenario that black children will be good. There is no scenario without that. And if you are for that, you are for this. That's not even a conversation. That's not even a conversation. So a lot of these guilt-ridden niggas, you are the very issue that y'all want to feel guilty about. You are either for the black gynocracy, for the matriarchy, or you are for a black, an actual competitive black community. There is only route that way. This partnership, this women having power cannot coexist with an actual functional community. It doesn't work that way. The United States of America are finding that out with other countries, mainly China, that is caught up and in some ways past the United States. You need to understand, the only thing, there's only two, let me be very fucking clear with you, just so you stupid fucks understand in a very simple way. The only thing that's keeping us from being taken over and being completely fucking left in the dust is two factors. The United States military, which you don't have without the men. I was talking to a chick the other day, talking about how you need more men because of the military, and she talking about, this black chick, she's talking about what women can do. Well, women can be, women can fight in the military. I said, yo, if we're talking logistics, okay. If we're talking drones, maybe. I even threw her a bone saying, you know, they say women generally can be better snipers. But let's keep it all the way a fucking buck. Anybody that acts like men, if you're going up against other men, so you cannot tell me what women can do and then say, why can't men hit women? Why is it more a big deal when a man hits a woman versus a woman hits a woman? Why? Well, because men are stronger. Exactly. So if men are, either that's true or that's not true. If that's true, then there is no gender equal military is not going pound for pound a military full of men. The more patriarchal men are, the more they're going to be better fighters. And you're dealing with, China has like a 5 times population advantage. 5 to 1. It's actually more than that. It's like 6 to 1. And a lot of them are men because of the 2-child policy China had, which a lot of folks didn't want women. But see, this is like, and it's like, I don't have time to like break that shit down. Like, you have folks that their survival instinct is like fucked with. And so my point in saying all of that is that you got women that live, I'm like, if you believe that, then you don't believe that men are naturally stronger than women. And this is how, like, again, this is how we got here. But going back to the main point. The main point is, this is why I know black women are going to bottom the fuck out. Because black women are going to listen to these dudes. I don't even want to call them predators because I'm not going to invest in that language. But you're listening to dudes that basically they are selling you emotional dope. They are essentially lying to you. And you don't have time. BGS said black women got 6 months. I can agree with that. Because the truth is, other women, when they're going to be coming for black men. But the black men have the money, the black men have the looks, but mainly the money, the combination of both, and mainly the money, they are going to be coming for those men because there's not going to be enough of those men where they're at. And when that happens, it ain't nothing these fucking bitch ass niggas are going to say, because they're lying to you. They are essentially lying to you for money. And that's on you for believing the lie. But this kind of anti-black manosphere shit, I'm not worried about that, and here's why. At the end of the day, they're not operating in reality. We are. And at the end of the day, the reality is of the situation is on our side. It's not on their side. So no matter how many views you all get, because people, like, we have never had a view. This has never been a competition of views. The women have always had more views than the men. They've always had more views than the men. Yet, we've gotten here because it's not about view count. So, like, when FD Signifier, because BGS played him in the end of his last live stream, when he was saying, these guys are fucking losers and all of that. A lot of these guys in this space have children. They raise children on their own. Like, it's just the same goofy shit Anton used to say. And it's like, You say these people are losers, but your bitch ass is too scared to actually make. Your bitch ass would never sit down with a Dr. Tiasan Johnson. You barely want to sit down with BGS because you're afraid. Because you know you'll be exposed even by those white folks that you don't know what you're talking about. White people would do a better job listening to SWP than they do listening to you. Because you're never willing to tell the whole truth. Oh man, he is the definition of a grifter. You are basically saying whatever you need to say within the confines of your own worldview to make some money. You don't give a fuck about black people. You're just selling bullshit. And the reason why he's excited about this grits and egg panda poop air dude is because he's doing the same thing. I don't give a fuck if you get 1 million views a day. Because eventually black folks, when they turn that shit on, when they turn your shit off, they gotta operate in the real world. So it doesn't matter if you get 1 million views a day. At the end of the day, eventually your bullshit is going to be detrimental to their quality of life. Because when they look for an answer, and eventually they'll ask you, you ain't going to have it. That's what I know. So, Derek Jackson, Ace Metaphor, these women are, these are avatars of delusion. And it's coming real quick. It's already here that unless you're like 7 or up, which most women are not, and even a lot of women that are capable of some bullshit. And let me tell you something too. This is another thing I really want to speak on. This kind of brings Tariq into this a little bit. You have folks that they just want to say the red pill is racist. Understand, Tariq don't got the answer. When it comes to like, Jason Black may speak to certain shit about what you need to do, but ultimately with a lot of these motherfuckers bottoming out, like the women, at the end of the day, these people don't have the answer. They're not gonna tell you because they already kind of know you're fucked already. All it is, the Black Manosphere has been the only group that has been willing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. One of the things that really pissed me off about what Panda Blue Bear was saying was he was basically talking about, oh, you listen to that red pill shit, you're gonna be conservative. And you're gonna be and liberal. Like, black people do not operate in the definitions of liberal and conservative. First of all, white people don't either. This is why white people can jump from one party to another when it makes power sense for them. Remember, Trump was a Democrat. Let's cut the bullshit. So whenever I hear, see, there's a reason why these motherfuckers don't never want to debate red pill people or people that lean on the manosphere, because the reality is, number one, there's no money in it for them, and number two, they'll be exposed for not knowing what the fuck they're talking about. So a lot of these guys can hide behind view counts. Oh, I don't need to talk to you because my views are a certain type of way. Because the reality is, this is more activism, what we're doing. If our stuff was tailored specifically towards views, then we wouldn't talk about this content because nobody wants to hear this shit. Because it's something that's necessary, but it's something that's not economically viable. So that view count shit just means you're bullshit. You know, sugar sells more than vegetables. Fast food, that doesn't mean it's fucking better for you. That doesn't mean it's the right thing. And this is why, you know, when these motherfuckers like really bottom out, I'm like, yo, don't save them. They gotta go through they're like 40 years in the desert because they chose that. They chose to fuck around, and they're in the find out part of their cycle. And if you save them, it's not even about saving them for revenge. They're gonna harm you for saving them. Because it's like, if you deal with a stripper and you try to take her off the pole, well, you're still dealing with a stripper. And she's gonna do stripper shit. Thank you. So Stephen, I talk, what Stephen. Let me breathe. A big pet peeve on my fucking channel is niggas talking solutions. Because most of them niggas that talk, most of you all, other people that talk solutions, you niggas don't know shit, which is why you never lead with a solution. I have been talking solutions. I cannot fucking stand when niggas say that we gotta talk solutions at some point. It is some serious disrespectful shit to say that to me. BGS has talked solutions. I have talked solutions. So let me ask you this, and I'm gonna be nice at first. What is your definition of a solution? I want to make it clear that we have the same definition of a solution. What is your definition of a solution, and what do you want solved? That's the first question. The second question is, what do you want solved? You are on the clock right now. I will ban you if you don't fucking answer this question. There is not a right answer or a wrong answer. I'm just trying to gather what is your definition of a solution and what do you want solved? Because I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. No, ain't no fallback. This is an open-ended question. There is no real wrong answer. I just want to know what you mean before I move forward. And I'm gonna stop talking until you give me the answer. What's up, Marcus? Because that's an emotional response. The reason why I'm doing this is because that's an emotional response. At some point, we gotta talk about solutions. At some point. That's an emotional response that niggas get. It's like when your red pill cup is overfilled, it's like an emotional response that people get. And it's so disrespectful when I've been talking solutions. At some point, destroy what? Be specific. Be specific. Destroy it. What the fuck is it? Speak ambiguous language. That's another pet peeve. I just tolerate that. What I'm asking you is not hard. It's not hard. You the one that brought that shit up. I was in the flow, and you hit me. You hit one of my trigger phrases. I've responded like this before with that solutions talk. You know where you are. And don't beat them up in the chat. That's not what this is about. Because it's my personal opinion, and most niggas that say that shit, they don't know what the fuck they don't even know what they want solved. And so I'm testing that theory right now. I just want solutions, like some kind of bird that needs like the food ate and then gave it in them. I personally think that's like, there's not even a thought connected to that statement. Maybe I'm wrong. And you've been listening. That's why I'm giving you a chance. I could be wrong. I'll admit that. So I'm trying to see. What is your definition? So we need to talk solutions to destroy the gynocracy. That's what you're asking. So let me ask you this. What do you think should be done about the gynocracy? Because I have talked solutions. How do you give me some, what are your thoughts about how do you destroy the gynocracy? Because I have talked about how to deal with it. So what that's telling me is you're not listening. You did answer the first part. Now the second part is what is your thought? Because I have talked about how to deal with it. I say it every video. I give two critical solutions. And really, one is really they're really part of one of two parts. Part one and part two. Because what this is telling me, I don't want y'all to mindlessly listen to me. Like, there is a purpose of me saying what I say. I'm waiting. What is your ideas? I'm just wanting one. You give me one, I'll give you what the solutions I generally give. You said you need to pull up and fuck Pookie and Ray Ray. That's the best you got. We need to pull up and fuck Pookie and Ray Ray. So in your mind, the gynocracy exists because of Pookie and Ray Ray. Of all the shit that I've talked, the conclusion that you draw is that the gynocracy exists because you got Pookie and Ray Ray protecting it. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear. And y'all chill out. We're not trying to make him look bad. That's not what this is. It's not why I'm doing this. I'm actually trying to get clarity here for real. We need to come up and fuck Pookie and... Well, he basically fuck up is what he means. I'm waiting. And my thing is, if that's your solution, then stand on that. Why are you asking me for solutions rather than presenting if that's what you think needs to happen? That's what I don't understand. It's like y'all want other people to do shit for you. Yeah, I get it. Tula Watt says, I'm not going to jail regulating men for Keisha loves to breed with. I understand that. But that's not what this is about. I agree with that. What's up, Timothy? So it don't look like he's gonna keep talking. So one thing I've said, you notice how I've said that it's always the thing behind the thing. Niggas need to start having enough nuts saying what they actually believe. Stop talking in ambiguous language, because you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time. My time is more important, but you're wasting your time. Why is it, Stephen? Okay, so why do you not just say that? We stretch this shit out so much because motherfuckers are talking in ambiguous language. God damn. So first of all, let me answer. So my solution is for black men to stop subsidizing the gynocracy. That shit needs to have to stand on its own weight. And it ain't Pookie and Ray Ray that's doing that. It's the so-called good niggas that are doing that. Pookie and Ray Ray ain't being stepdaddies like that. The only thing Pookie and Ray Ray and them is doing is fucking these hoes. Pookie and Ray Ray ain't even doling out money. It's niggas that want to be a good man is doing that. And it's not just in sexual relationships. Dudes go out of their way to give women money that ain't doing shit for you to alleviate. Black men have black guilt just like white people got white guilt. And women play on that to solicit for resources. They're not playing on Pookie. Pookie is an enforcement arm. But Pookie cannot enforce you giving money to black women. They can't do that. That's where the psychological manipulation comes in. Pookie ain't got no money. We financially support them. So what I've always said is you have to promote the idea of if black women are better, black men are not to be, if black men are not supposed to support black women and subsidy, because it's not support, it's subsidy. Support, like for instance, if a woman supports you, she is not subsidizing you. That is not the same thing. It's usually not money. It's usually in cooperation. Women want to be subsidized. That's the difference. Woo. That's the difference. No, you notice why these terms are important to be defined. Because, and this is why black men also have to stop talking in a language of ambiguity. That's the language of scamming. That's the language of hoes. And I know you niggas can. The issue is, dudes, it's like, dudes gotta stand on what they stand on. And this ain't about you, Stephen. I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm just talking in general. And that's not because, oh, I just think you should do it. We gotta be clear on what the fuck we mean. So I'm not beating, I don't agree with the violence thing, because all that does is basically prove that, number one, Pookies can't stand on their own. Pookies gotta be subsidized by females. And the only reason why females can subsidize them is because of the Section 8, the money and shit they get from the government. Obsidian was right in the sense of Obsidian is saying black men got to be willing to cut that shit and cut that shit off. That shit has to fall on its own weight. And the problem is black men, like, you got to be clear, meaning, number one, those resources, the resources where that black men are spending trying to uplift, I'm talking about the general black male grass, trying to uplift women, the gynocracy is resources they're not spending on trying to have an actual functional black community. That's the solution. How you get there, well, first and foremost is you have to network as many black men as possible. And my ultimate solution in doing that is basically getting into every barbershop that we can get, putting a website or an app on a Google Play Store thing, a Google Chrome key that can be accessed with every TV that has Wi-Fi in a barbershop. And there's 30,000 barbershops in the United States, because that way we will actually connect with black people that are offline as well as online. And we will basically what the Hispanics have. What the Hispanics have by having their Spanish speaking like newspapers and shit. We need to have the equivalent of that. We need to have the equivalent of that. That's your solution. If we network the black men, as many black men as possible, which is something, by the way, nobody has ever done. And it's something that, quite frankly, I don't talk about it a lot because it's a very dangerous thing to do. This is something, low-key, this is something that could get me, like, hurt by the powers that be. If I'm capable of pulling this off. This is something that would have to be done in silence. Just like any of you all that saw Andor, that shit what Mon Mothma had to do, it's the same thing. That shit cannot be done in the open. It will have to be done in silence, or the materials will have to be gathered to the point where when the move is made, it'll be made fast. Because once they catch that, it might be an issue. And that's why I don't talk about it all the time. Well, Just Walk Away is a part of that. That's why I don't go against SYSBM. Because if you're just walking away, then you're doing part one of what I need done. And when dudes just walk away, dudes still need a somewhat lifeline when it comes to black men, whether they agree with poor blackness or not. So just walking, and here's the thing, Ray, just walking away, number one, just walking away has two factors. A, the quick thing is that don't mean they're gonna leave you alone. So that's number one. And number two, black women are not gonna leave you alone. And number two, that makes you more vulnerable if you don't have a group. It doesn't have to be black women, but this is where black men in and of itself have to be a group. Because at the end of the day, if you care about the black community, it doesn't happen without us. And number two, if you're gonna do that, then you actually need your own group, because then you're just gonna latch on to another group and you're always gonna be an outsider. Does that make sense? So even amongst that, it still makes sense. Hey, can we do it because 54% of us are single and childless? We're sleeping, but exactly, which is why I said that. Number one, that shit costs money to do, and then obviously I'm not in a position where I can fund something like that. And this will spur a lot of different stuff. So there's little micro steps, but what I'm telling you is that, and this stuff is possible. And so when people say a solution, it's not just one solution, but that would create a platform for solutions, kind of like a Research Triangle Park kind of thing. That would create a platform for a lot of different. So I've already said that. This is stuff I've talked about. I don't bring it up every day because it's something, quite frankly, that I don't need to be putting out there every day. But my point is, I talk around it a lot. And what I do talk about every day is black men basically do not subsidize anything that doesn't benefit you. That is something I do say. That is something I do say. Appreciate it. So there are solutions. And I'm not here to beat you up for asking what's the solution, but just be prepared to, like, for example, I just gave you something. So when somebody says what's the solution, if you ask that somewhere else, well, now you can take my solution. Like, just off, don't even talk, don't do the barbershop thing, but you can say, stop subsidizing stuff that doesn't subsidize you, and invest that in things that do subsidize you. And black men need to define, what do we universally agree with? Where are some of the differences at? And then move forward. That requires communication, that requires clarity. There are people that are against clarity, because at the end of the day, they just want you to serve them bitches. So now you can take that to somebody else. That's the it. So it's this thing where like FD Signifier talked about, well, these guys are really anti-feminist. No, we're not. The community can, like, this is why I asked FD Signifier, how do you define the community? The matriarchy, patriarchy, gynocracy, or something in between? And what he ended up fumbling on is a failed patriarchy. Cool. When did it fail? When did it fail, and what did it look like when it was successful? Because if you say it was never a patriarchy, then it was never a patriarchy. That's not the same thing as a failed patriarchy. And he never wanted to really answer that, because he's a fucking liar. And this is an open-ended question. This is not a gotcha. He don't, because if he's got to define it, now he's got to commit to certain things. And he don't want to do that. No, man, well, you know. not saying there's anything wrong with being an anti-feminist, but you also gotta be able to define what is that and why is that, because they will define it. They will define it for you, because they'll say an anti-feminist is somebody that believes in misogyny and oppression. You believe women should be slaves. They'll identify anti-feminism as anti-black. If you're anti-black, that usually means you believe in the oppression of black people, or you're okay with it. You see, and this is why they always draw like racial attitudes, because they're trying to take advantage. Remember, you're talking to people that are ignorant and they want to lie, so they're always looking for gray areas or opportunities to do that. They're always looking for opportunities to lie. Here, hold on one second. Sorry. That's me. They're always looking for that opportunity to fucking lie. Hey, yo, hold on one second. Oh my God, I'm so fucked up out here. Hold on one second. I'm about to go radio silent. Y'all be all right. Give me a second. I'll be back. All right, y'all, I'm back. Oh, my bad. Okay, press 1 if y'all can hear me now. Press 1 if y'all can hear me now. All right. So like I was saying, I ain't losing my point, but like I was saying, one of the things, just to talk about it at a basic level, is there's a lot of people that don't believe in reciprocity. Do black women believe in reciprocity? Do they actually believe that you're going to have to do something to get something? It is not a God-given right. It is not a God-given right for a man to protect and provide. That is not a God-given right. That is an exchange for you being on his program and being an extension of him. If you like for real, there is things that he's supposed to do, and there's a reason he does that as it pertains to you. You are a part of his house, which is why, just like he's tasked with protecting and providing his person, his house, the children he has, is because you are an extension of that. If it was really just about sex, then you just get a strip, get a prostitute. I mean, he did. He parted them. I mean, he did. I mean, black women are happy with the NBA YoungBoy thing. I mean, hey, I'm not against it. Larry Hoover, I might have more issues with, because what Larry Hoover did was at scale. But I'm not mad. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's certain people that'll cover it. I may cover it in a video and give like 6 or 7 minutes to it. But, talk about how I know black women love NBA YoungBoy. I don't got an issue with NBA YoungBoy either, but black women, oh man, that's the Patriots say the thuggery to them. These chicks will kill for him. But you see what I'm saying? There is no reciprocity. And that's, if I was on anti and stuff, I would ask, do y'all actually believe in reciprocity? Do y'all believe you have to give to get? Do y'all believe there's an exchange here? Or do y'all think men are just put on this earth to serve you, and what our thoughts and desires are don't matter? Because there's money behind our thoughts and desires. Yeah, why he's not going to do that. He would have did that already. Because again, they're not what she did. I'm not saying she shouldn't be pardoned, but they're gonna let her die over there. They already made that decision. White people, one thing about them is they hold grudges. Yo, what's taking so long? There is no, but I will say this though, we definitely should be pushing it more, because celebrities are not going to push that, because that's going to get them like banned or canceled. So the organic, and by the way, why aren't black women pushing it? Why don't you hear pro-blacks pushing it? They should be bringing that up all the time. Yes, sorry about that. All right, appreciate it. Shout out to Andre, you know who you are. It is. It's not about the community. It's really about it's really, again, intersectional feminism is matriarchy speak. You're not, my thing is, it's not about women versus men. You all are not really for the community. You're for basically this thing where women are just, like, the idea is if we elevate women, we elevate the community. Okay, what have women produced? Where's the evidence? Because they've been elevated. They've been elevated. Now what? Like, tangible. Not all this, we're creating businesses but no employees. You can't even say that they've actually used this stuff to help other black women. You said frying corn. I was grilling corn. Yeah, this is Chick-fil-A, so. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the basic things. There's no reciprocity. And that's why dude was talking about you don't want to listen to that red pill content because we make too much sense. We're making too much sense. So he can't, because these niggas never want to debate red pill dudes. Because it makes too much sense. And they will be exposed for the grifters that they are. So I stay away from it. And that's fine. Because guess what? Our job is not, we're not here to make money off of women. I'll give you another solution just to throw it out. People may not like this. And this is a dangerous game. But any dude that's like red pill adjacent, but more on the purple pill, it's very simple. You just got to deal with the like your Shay Shardays. There's a chick by the name of Messy TV who's pretty good. You know, Reva TV. You just have to click in with them. But see, the problem is a lot of them got like very big male audiences, which is not a bad thing, because that is bringing more people to you. The Black Female Account Crimson Cure, the Black Female Accountability Department is growing. And you'll have some panders in there you got to deal with, but for the most part, and even if women are pandering, the reality is they reinforce our message anyway. And you can't say it's hate speech if another woman is saying it. Chantel Simone is like, she's in Jamaica right now. But that's my point. Yeah, well, you know, the pick me thing, but the point is, there's a path even doing that. Because if you deal with them, because you're seeing it, and by the way, that's going to accelerate too. Women telling the truth, because that stuff is getting too close to home, so it's affecting them. So there's a growing audience for that. Also, a lot of the women have a better ability to bring the dudes on our side quicker than otherwise not. Because there's a lot of dudes in that purple pill where they're looking for women's permission to think this way. Tyrese's ex-wife is an exception. Tyrese's ex-wife is problematic for other reasons. Because she's obviously pandering. Nah, that level of pandering is unacceptable. I have my limits. But that's unacceptable what she's doing. That's con artistry what she's doing. You can't have that level of hypocrisy, public or private. Any dude that's supporting her is an idiot. But like I was saying, because people don't like when I eat, I get comments, which I understand that. So I'm in this video, but you get my point. My point is, so there are solutions. Because even in my path to networking men, ultimately this is not about a gender war. This is about black male autonomy. And everybody is basically pulling the black communities of patriarchy that failed, so black women are just left out here in the wind because black men failed. This is a lie. That's not what happened. What happened is black women teamed up with white women, and white women vacuumed out what was supposed to go to black men to trickle down to black women. And black women don't want to hold that, so they redid the narrative to make it sound like we were a bad person. They're lying. Black people are lying, and they're investing in a lie. And we all know it's a lie, and then we think that the community is never going to get back. Whether you want to be in a community or not, that's a different conversation. The SYSBM, it must still operates within the gynocracy's got to be dealt with, and that's how you deal with it. It is sad there's so many dudes, but that's, as BGS would say, to my annoyance sometimes, that's the socialization. And you have to accept that reality to then produce your outcome. Pro-blacks are pro-gynocracy. So anyway, we did almost an hour. Appreciate it. It's Edward signing off. Peace.